What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Peak to Middle School. My name is Narwhal. I am here with Kyle.
Yes.
And this may come as a surprise to some of you, maybe not, but probably to a lot of you. But this is unfortunately the last episode of PIMS as we currently know it.
Yes, this is somewhat of my PIMS funeral, per se. This will be the last episode that I'm on. Like John was saying, it probably... Fuck, I have something in my eye right now. That's great timing. I'm not crying, I promise. It probably comes as a surprise to some of you guys, but we've just been doing this for a long time, and it's been, 2.5 years, almost, yeah.
Probably more, a
little over 2.5 years. So it's been a lot, and there really haven't been any breaks, and lately I guess I just have realized that this just isn't what I want to do for a career, and it's not. I don't feel as passionate. I know that I'm not as passionate about it as John is. I think that could be clear to you guys even too, that John, this is what he wants to do, being an entertainer, doing all that stuff on social media. That's him. And it took me a while to realize that that's not me. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And, first things first. I mean, John and I are fine. That's people are gonna be like, oh my God, they hate each other or something. We're gonna be living together in a couple months.
Yeah,
so we're good.
I want everyone to know Kyle is my best friend for life. I love him like a brother, and nothing happened. And I know there's anytime on social media or something happens, there's always these conspiracy theories. I remember my favorite show, The Basement Yard, a while ago. One of the co-hosts left. And all these people came up with all these crazy conspiracies, and they're like, yo, he just left. That's it. So I just want to make it clear that, literally nothing happened. Kyle and I are best friends.
Yeah. So, going forward, you're just going to not see me on here. I don't really know exactly what PIM's going to look like. That's up to John. Anything he wants to do with the show, he can do with the show. Maybe I'll make a cameo once a year, whatever. I don't know. I might pop in, but my time on camera I think is coming to an end. So that's how it is for me.
If I don't know how much you want to share with people, but what do you feel like? Is there anything you felt I don't know. How do you feel like you came to this decision? How did you kind of realize that maybe this isn't what you want?
So I guess the past month or two, I just kind of haven't felt like myself, and I felt like I needed some sort of change. I didn't really know what that was. I'm going back to school to finish my degree. I guess I just kind of have realized that the main thing for me was God, do I really have something in my eye? This is really annoying. So the main thing for me was the social media aspect, and I guess the aspect of just, when you're doing a podcast, your face is just out there. You're putting yourself out there. And I know when we first started, that was one of the biggest fears for me. And that's something that I'm very proud that I've gotten over, I would say I've gotten over, of just the fact that people are looking at me and people are listening to what I have to say, and they're going to make their judgments. And it's not that I had a big issue with that. It's more that when you're basically, in order for a podcast to succeed, it either needs to get super lucky and you just rise up the charts, people find you on charts or whatever, or the most likely way is you kind of blow up on social media, and then because people follow you, they're going to listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
And so it was that aspect that that's our most likely way of growing. And every time I went on social media, I knew that I needed to be more active on social media and just whatever, making TikToks or whatever, posting on my story. And every single time I did it, it just felt so uncomfortable to me. And I just felt
you were forcing it.
I was forcing it. I didn't want to do it. And so I forced myself to do whatever I did.
A couple years.
I wasn't super active, but the podcast itself, I love. This back and forth is awesome, and I've come in on some really bad days and left feeling really good after this. It's almost been therapy. But it's just the social media part, and it's the fact that like I was saying, I'm putting myself out there. And so if someone wants, they could just absolutely write the meanest thing possible to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Not that I'm a super fragile person, but I just would prefer to not have that in my life. And
yeah, no, I mean, a lot of you hear from so many people. One of the main tips when people are like, how to like improve mental health, or like, the main thing is like, get the fuck off social media. And you hear that everywhere. Like, you hear that on social media. People are like, dude, like, social media is just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. It's just, we're not meant to be doing this. And it's the worst way to communicate.
It is.
And like, I've seen polls from like Instagram, like influencers, and they say, do you think social media is bad for you? And the polls are like 90% yes.
Yeah. And then yet we're all on it. And it's like, I don't know why we do this, but yeah.
So you feel like it's kind of just at the end of the day, like you've learned through this process that like you were kind of trying to figure out, like, maybe this was a thing. Maybe you did want to be like an entertainer where like this is the thing. Like, everyone's looking at you, talking about
like,
you.
I'm in the spot, like, and I'm this person that's like, like the entertainer. I just kind of realized I don't really want to be that person. I think it's fun to be that person sometimes, but to always be that person, I just don't really want that. And it's like it was like a mental health thing, but it's also just me realizing that just in general, this is just not really what I want to do. And it was like a little bit of burnout too, just because we've been doing it for so long. At the end of the day, I just realized that this is just not what I want to do, but I have absolutely no regrets. I'm so glad we did it. There's so many memories we can look back on in like 5 years and just watch our development as people growing up. It's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I
have absolutely no regrets that although like part of me is like, oh dang, part of me is like, thinks about, oh my God, I spent so much time, so many days. But like, if you view it that way, that's just like a pessimistic way of viewing it. And if you turn it on its head and you're like, dude, I got to like talk with my best friend twice a week for an hour and a half. And like, I've learned more about you in the last 3 years and about myself in the last 3 years than I ever have before. And like, that's pretty amazing to me. And I think that's why I'll never view PIMS as like a failure or like something that I, for some weird reason, like regret or I don't know. Like, I love it.
It's all about it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And the journey has been awesome. So I have absolutely no regrets there. And I mean, to everybody that's ever listened, thank you so much for letting us into your ear space and looking at us, I guess, sometimes. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for just listening to us. And I just said that. I don't even know what to say. Like, just thank you.
There are obviously some aspects, or, maybe for you more than me, there are certain aspects of it that obviously you've learned you don't really enjoy. But I will say, I think we can agree on the fact that like getting good messages from people and like people who genuinely care, and they're like, hey man, I found your show. I just want you to know I listened to like 200 episodes over the last year during COVID, and it like helped me out. That shit, at least for me, and I think you would agree, it makes us feel really good. And was like a super rewarding feeling.
Yeah, definitely. And there's even a few specific people too who have sent more personal messages to us about whether or not they just are showing their support to us, or saying like, hey, I can tell you're having a hard time, like looking out for you, or saying like they've been going through a really hard time and we've been helpful for them. So, I mean, to you guys, I just can't thank you guys enough for that.
I think that like when Kyle told me like he was kind of done, obviously I was sad. I was really sad because I've loved PIMS. I still do love PIMS, and this is like a dream. But I remember my mom, she asked me, she's like, so how are you feeling? Like, she could tell I was sad. She's like, how are you feeling? And I was like, I'm sad, but like, I'm also really happy for Kyle. And I think that this is just something I want to say to you guys listening. I think if you have a friend, like, you should want the best for them. And like, I think in any situation, if your friend like tells you something that's maybe a little tough to hear, or something that you didn't expect, I think that it's important as a friend to like support them and want what's best for them. And so I want to say I'm really happy for Kyle, although I'm sad and that things are going to look a little different. I think that, I don't know, that's just something that's really important to me. Well, so I'm happy for you.
I appreciate you. I love you too, man. We should I want to kiss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, going forward, I really hope you guys all still listen to John, whatever John's going to do with PIMS and whatever he's doing on his social media, his TikTok, whatever. I hope you guys keep watching that stuff. I mean, I definitely am. because he really does have a passion for this stuff, and I know he's going to make it. Whatever it is he's going to do, it's going to be awesome. So keep watching John.
Thanks, Doug. Yeah, so I know that maybe some of you guys who have been listening for a couple years now, you who listen like every episode, some of you might be shocked or some of you might just be confused. And I get it, but at the end of the day, and like you guys, although you listen to the episodes, you only get a little glimpse into our life. It's like there's a lot that like we think about or that we feel or do outside of this shit.
Yeah.
And so my point with that is that although it might seem confusing, I don't know, like when it really hit me that like maybe PIMS is different now, I was sad, but I wasn't entirely shocked. I felt like in the back of my mind, like this kind of has been, I feel like it's run its course, you know.
Yes, yeah.
It ran its course. And I also want to say I am certain that we did as much as we possibly could have done.
Yeah.
Like I don't look back on the last 3 years and think that we could have done a single other thing.
Agreed.
Like, so in that sense, I don't know. I've never really had I think this is the first time that I've had a dream that has kind of like died in some sense, where it's something that like I really wanted to do, and I did it. Like we did it together. And that's something someone told me once. I was explaining like my dream of like being hosting this podcast and like people listening and building a community. And they're like, although it's not your career, like you're doing it.
Yeah.
You did it. It's smaller, but you did it. Like you built this show. It has its own things. You've developed a fan base and people message you about it. People have questions to be answered on the show. Like you did the thing.
Yeah.
We did it. It's just different. It's like you didn't make a career out of it, but that doesn't mean it's not just as real.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess my point is, although things are changing, I think if I was younger, I would feel like I failed or like, oh, I didn't make it or like, and
like
I know
gave up or something.
Yeah, but it's not giving up. It's moving on.
Yeah.
And I think like those are very different, because giving up, it's like in the back of your heart or in your heart, you want to do it, but you just didn't. Like you gave up. But this is very different.
Yeah. This is, and there's things from this that we can both just take from to the rest of our lives. I mean, I have just a confidence of speaking to people in general, like times a million from when I started.
Yeah. If you guys listen to episodes 1 through like 55,
yeah,
you can just tell. I mean, both of us.
Yeah.
But I feel like, Kyle, you've definitely come out of your shell. I mean, that's a dumb term, but you know, you've become more confident, and it's very noticeable.
Well, thank you. And yeah, so that's why that's like a getting older thing, where it's like I always hated that quote of like, oh, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But I was like, but the destination's where you end up, so don't you want to be in a good destination? But seriously, the journey is actually, it's important, and there's stuff you can take away from it. Yeah. So just whatever journey you're on, just some life advice, just appreciate where you're at, and you're going to take away something from it.
Yeah. And I think something that is really hard to see in the moment, but that, at least for me, it's something I realize over years, is that like sometimes the destination, in my head, I always feel like when I come up with a goal, like a destination where I want to be, like that changes, and that's where things get weird, because I vividly remember us saying like, oh, you know, like, yeah, we can go on tour and like we can do these shows, and like for me at least, that truly was like the dream.
Same.
And like now I just feel like, I don't know, nothing caused it. It's just this ran its course, and things change. You get older, different life experiences, and then for me it's like you realize I still have a dream, but like that thing isn't the dream anymore. It's like it's changed. So therefore it's not giving up on a dream, because it's not the dream anymore.
Yeah, dreams change over time. Every night you got a different dream.
Yeah.
I've had some weird dreams.
We've talked about a lot of our weird dreams.
We have.
But yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I am going to have a video coming up in probably either a few days from now or maybe just a week from now, just to keep it easy. Just explaining like what the future of PIMS is going to look like, because quite honestly, right now, I don't know. But I will say, I don't want PIMS to die. So I don't think that it'll just like, you guys will just never hear from it again. PIMS is just gone. It's a relic to ancient history. I don't think that'll happen. But whether it be a rebrand or a different style of show, there's definitely going to be some changes. And if, like, honestly, I'm just being honest. I know there's some of you guys that really love Kyle and you listen to PIMS maybe partly or entirely because of the relationship between Kyle and I, or the dynamic. So if it's not your thing anymore, whatever PIMS does become, I get it. Honestly, I do. And like, I'm just going to make whatever content I want to make. And I feel like at this point, it can't be, I don't want it to be what Kyle and I have built. I want it to be something different, because I don't want to just go find like a different co-host or like a different friend. I mean, I have other friends, but like, one, I don't know who would want to do it. And two, it's just not the same. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not about having a co-host. It's about like the relationship between the co-hosts. So my point is, things are going to change, but I'm honestly going to take a little break. I need a break.
You deserve it.
Yeah. I need to figure out what the hell my plan is. But yeah, I'll have another video soon that'll be just, I'll talk about everything, like from the beginning, like how I felt at the beginning, and then where PIMS is going to go now. But yeah, so
cool.
I don't know, Kyle, anything else before you send off?
The last final thing is, again, thank you to everyone who ever listened, even if it was just one episode or if you listened to all 260 or however many we had. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been a huge part of my life. So I really appreciate you all. And to you, I really appreciate you understanding where I was coming from and just being on this journey with me. It's been wild, and I would not change anything.
Yeah, bro, me either. Like I said it before, but this was literally, truly some of the best memories of my life have been on PIMS. So, wow, I'm almost getting emotional right now. But yeah, man, dude, just like all this shit, all these clips. Yeah, I don't want to start crying right now. But guys, thank you so much for listening. PIMS will I don't know. I'm not going to say anything right now, but just give me some time to figure out what the hell I'm doing. And
just go follow John.
Thank you so much for listening to PIMS, guys. We really do appreciate it. And it's been a really fun journey. And I'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Was that good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. You feel good?
Yeah. There it is.